got the band back together. It's like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. You know, they break up and then they come back for one last tour. Hopefully, it's not our last tour, but welcome everyone to another Watch Soup Sunday Night Watch Soup. And yeah, happy Sunday before the Super Bowl. Was it 2 years
Wow.
ago, Sanjay, that we started Watch Soup, or was it last year that we
It
started
was
Watch
last
Soup?
year. It was last
Okay, and
year.
I think it was like after the Super Bowl,
It was
right? Like,
after Valentine's Day.
okay,
Yeah.
so it was the week after. So the Valentine's Day didn't fall in the Super Bowl, so it must have been like, I think we planned on. I think if I remember correctly, we planned on doing it this night of the Super Bowl, and then we realized, okay, well, it was the Super Bowl, and
Yeah.
then we're gonna do Valentine's Day, and then like Mrs. Legs was like, no, we're doing a stream on Valentine's Day. I'm getting in there,
Yeah.
and then we started right after it. So it's almost the 1 year anniversary of Watch Soup.
Yeah.
How are you, Sanjay? How you feeling?
Very good. Not looking forward to going back to work tomorrow, but
Oh,
Mm.
you're not even taking a couple weeks off, man?
well, I can't really.
Oh,
Um,
those mushrooms, you know,
yeah, mushrooms just grow, and
just
yeah.
they don't stop. They don't stop for anybody.
Yeah. No, it's just it's hard for our team to get by
Mhm.
without me, and
Yeah.
yeah, so it would just be nice for me to be there.
It's hard for your AD to get by without you.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we got a good night's sleep last night, so I'm
Yeah.
not like achy and sore all over, which is nice. And yeah, good spirits.
That's great, man. Any new watches as from in the last 12 hours or 24 hours?
Nope, nope.
No.
I behaved for the past 12 hours. So.
I got to tell you, man, I was very, very close to putting up your Zenith video as on this, to open up the discussion of it being, is that the death, is that meaning that it's gone, it's going?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, is that
Yeah.
the swan song?
It's not
So
going.
it's
I
not
mean,
gone.
well, I shouldn't say that. It's most likely not going. It's most likely not going.
Okay. What do you got on wrist tonight?
I actually have my SLA 055. It's not set right
Ooh.
now.
I like the strap on that. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a blue
Mhm.
carbon fiber look-alike strap. Water resistant, so
Yeah.
not
Wow.
betraying the SLA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Chaz, how you doing, my bud?
Doing great, man. Good to be on here with the original OG crew. Good to have you and Sanjay just watch Soup, man. I know it doesn't work out always, but you guys are watch Soup, and
Yeah.
so I'm glad to have the B team represent the B squad over
Get
here.
out of
But
here. You're not the
hey,
B team,
but
man.
could I be Paul? I mean, I've always wanted to be Paul. If the Beatles are getting back together,
Sure.
can I be
You can.
Paul?
Oh yeah, Paul's
Okay.
instrumental.
Yeah.
Paul wrote most of the songs, right?
Well,
Or
you
John or
got some
Paul. Yeah.
people who are,
Yeah.
I like Paul, so
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be Paul. So
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean,
yeah.
I think you could be Paul.
I mean, if it's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I'll be
absolutely.
Ringo.
Hey, Ringo's a great guy.
He is.
I met Ringo once.
I'm not smart enough to be John, so you be Paul and get.
Yeah.
I'm not the great guitar player, so. But anyway, thanks for having me on. Always glad to be on with you.
No worries. No worries. What do you have on wrist?
I'm got the
Oh yeah.
world timer.
World
Nice.
timer. Yeah.
And,
Very, very nice.
Yeah, the Omega.
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 And I got the Rolex.
Oh, I hear the music.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to say who day for Steve and go Bengals in the Super Bowl. I'm going to pull for the underdog.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go with the Bengals.
Yeah.
Joey B. I'm going to get on that bandwagon and I'm going to ride it. So
nice. Yeah. Yeah. I'll pull. I guess I'll pull for the Bengals. You know, the quarterback. He's so likable, right?
Yeah. Got a lot of swag.
Yeah, got a little swag. You know. But let's say hello to the chat, and then we'll go over the light version of Watch Soup. We're just talking about 3 videos. We're not going to do reviews. It's just too much work, Sandy. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I used to do it. I don't know how you do it. Hey, Steve, Mr. Casioka is here. Hey, Torin, what's up? What's going on? Kevin's here. Hey, Easy Clayton's here. Bill K, what is up? Justin R strapped in. That's like his go-to statement when he comes into the
It's his
stream. He's like
catchphrase.
strapped in. Yeah, it's his catchphrase. Yeah. B Dev is here. Enjoying a limoncello with my soup tonight. All right. Mez9 here. What is going on? Wilson, how you doing? Underachieving watch collectors here. Steve, speaking of Bengals, there he is. Craig G, what is up? How you doing? When is Omega Tokyo SMP? Nice, very very nice.
Craig G has a world timer too. World
He
timer,
does.
brother.
He does, and I think he has a third Omega, doesn't he? I think he has a third Omega. Does he have the gray side of the moon? Or he has a speed, some sort of speedy, I think.
I think he does. I think he's got a speedy race,
Yeah, maybe.
one of the racing
Oh, okay,
models, but I don't know
yeah.
for sure. But
Yeah,
I think
no, I
you're
think
right
you're
on
right.
the speedy.
Yeah. I'm sure Craig will let us know. Watch once over. Good evening, folks. Hey, Wayman's here. What's going on, Wayman? And Amin. Amin is here. Dan, I am surprised you're in the bottom of it. Like you're usually like 1 or 2 or 3 up there with the hellos in the chat. Dan is slipping. Must have had an exciting Sunday. Hey, what's up? Joey B is here. Pale Horse, what is going on? Nilo, hey Nilo. The desk diver, he's wearing his matching SLA 057.
Wow.
Rasan, what is up, man?
Hey,
We got to get
Rasan. Good to see you, man.
Rasan back on the stream. He's always great to have on the streams. Bobby's here. Hey, Bobby. Also, the attorney extraordinaire from last Thursday.
Yeah.
Watch court. That was brilliant.
Yeah. Somebody actually wants to be Paul. Did Chaz buy a tag?
I'd be proud to be that Paul too.
The Black Plague Spore is here. Ken checking in from Pittsburgh. Phil Watch. Oh, I thought Chaz wanted to buy tags and butthole service. Scatterbrain is here. Greg wore the World Timer yesterday. Yep.
Nice.
Oh, Rasan's wearing the JLC
Ooh.
Polaris. Very nice. Meznine's wearing the BB58. Wilson cheering on for Stafford and the Rams. I could see that. I like, I also like to see him win too. So, it's I don't know. I'm just hoping for a good game, right? That's all we can hope for, I think. PRX and Zelos tonight for Ken Spirit doing the Schwarzkopf. Jeff is here. How you doing? Howdy from Perth. Hobby Bobby. What's going on? I don't know why I laugh at that. I was like, Roar. I mean, I know where I think that name comes from, but it's just funny. Hey, Karan's here. How you doing? Speedmaster Racing 2 register. Right. The metallic white dial with the black rings. So yeah, beautiful watch. That's right.
It is nice. Really nice one.
Yeah, Steve's feeling good because the Bengals are in a Super Bowl and he's wearing the Yachtmaster tonight. Very nice. Nilo's wearing his Avenger GMT today. Very, very nice.
Nice.
Okay, so let's start off. We have 3 videos that we're gonna talk about, and Sanjay, since you're back in town, let's start you off here. What did you pick?
I picked the Watchfinder video, and they've done a lot of these over the years. 5 things you need to know before you buy a watch, or 5 mistakes watch new watch collectors make, or old watch collectors make. And I'm sure they've probably done this very topic a few times, but I like this one, mainly because of the last couple of reasons that they had. So, but just to go over it really quickly. They mentioned five reasons, as the title suggests. So the first one that they were talking about was accuracy. The fact that mechanical watches are not as accurate as quartz watches, and again, we've heard that so many times, and it's just a given, right? obviously mechanical watches are not as accurate, and it kind of um, helped me articulate in my own head why I've not really cared about accuracy when it came to the mechanical watches that I've been purchasing. Like as I grow in the hobby and I continue to enjoy quartz,
Hmm.
that really makes the accuracy side of the mechanical watches that I own less less prominent, less important. And
Hmm.
so when they were talking about that, it really helped align some gears in my head, I guess. So
Hmm.
I enjoyed that point. The second point was Swiss made watches are not the best watches out there.
Hmm.
That's again uh, arguable, I guess. You got the Philippe Dufours. They brought up Crador from Grand Seiko. They brought up I don't know if they brought up Alanga and Zona,
They showed a
but
picture of. I thought they both showed a picture of an
yeah,
Alanzana.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So basically, mentioning Swiss watches are not always the best. Third point was collecting watches as an investment is more of a recent development, and what a person generally should be doing is aiming towards minimizing loss. So, kind of in a satirical or not a satira, but in a jokey
Hmm.
way they mentioned, buying a secondhand watch, buying it secondhand, taking the hit out of it. And yeah, so that was a good point. The fourth point was an expensive watch is not necessarily better. Uh, that also hit home to me because recently I've been really interested in the SBGW 264, the green dial rose gold Grand Seiko Stunner, as we affectionately call it. So yeah, I was thinking about that. How Grand Seiko can really name their price, right? Whatever it is they want to charge for it, they can. Probably means they're not going to sell it very many of it. It's a limited edition anyway, but it's a ridiculous price. They can charge what they want to, and it's not a better watch. It's if you look at it on paper, it's an inferior watch to many of their other offerings, like significantly inferior. It's got a movement from a $4,000 Grand Seiko, and it's I can't quite remember 32,000 Canadian. I can't quite remember what that's in US, but
Mm.
I think
um,
it's 24.
Yeah.
24, yeah. So it doesn't make sense. The more expensive watch is not better.
Hmm.
Which is a good point again. And the fifth one was probably my favorite point. It was that there is no wrong answer when you're collecting watches. What you like is what you like. People may say you need to have a diverse collection. There are many different reasons why people buy watches. They were talking about, but for me, some people always say you have to have a diverse collection, or um, they just kind of say you got to have a Speedmaster, you got to have a Rolex in your collection. In the end, it's just you got to do you. You got to find out who you are, and then just do what you like. Because it's a hobby that's supposed to be fun. um and yeah, the last point that they made was let's be inclusive, not exclusive, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I like the thought of including everyone, not excluding everyone from watches, and like really points of light to all the a false scarcity and things that are coming up. I mean, if it's genuine scarcity, then there's nothing we can do about it. But you have all these exclusive watches, all these limited editions that really drive me bonkers. Um, it's just to exclude people from owning it and cause hype and things like that. So I like the thought of being inclusive. If you can buy it, or you should be able to buy what you want to buy, basically, if you have the money and you can afford it. So, yeah, yeah. What do you guys think of this? Did you guys have a chance to take a look at this video?
You want me to
Yeah,
go,
Chaz.
Ruff?
Yeah.
But I thought it was a good video. I would have liked for them to be a little more. I wish they'd put like number one, and then use that point number two, because I couldn't tell exactly which ones were his five reasons. You mentioned several things, but you did well giving a recap. I like the part he talked about, instead of looking at watches as investment, talk about stability versus investment. And I thought that was really good because, I mean, even if you don't look at watches as investments, everybody wants to get in as you don't want to take as much of a bath if you don't have to. You want stability.
Yeah.
So you try to buy smart. That's where you really save your money, and because most of us we're gonna trade. Some of these watches are gonna come and go. The cost versus quality, that's always a needed to hear argument. You do reach a point of diminishing return that on spending more money. At some point in time, you have to is it worth $10,000 more this watch versus this watch? Just I mean, some of that's subjective. Um, I love that there's no right or wrong when in this hobby. Um, whichever way you decide to go, whichever direction your collection goes, let's do it your way. Enjoy it, whatever's fun for you. If somebody wants to collect all Seiko fives, do it. If they want to stay with G Shocks, do it. Enjoy it. And he did mention something I think that we need to really take to heart. Sometimes we get this a little bit of hazing in the watch community. If somebody's out of the mainstream, and he said it's always good to inform, but try not to berate, and I think
Hmm.
that's something we
Yeah.
all need to kind of hear. I've seen some guys come in sometimes, and maybe they don't spend more than $1,000 on a watch. We ought to have room for them. I was one of those guys once. And when I didn't know anything about watches, and I came into some of these things, and you're kind of ashamed to admit what your watch is. I remember the time when the Seiko Samurai was my most expensive watch, and I was proud of that thing. I mean, I loved it.
Yeah.
Still think the Samurai is a good model. But I think we need to have a big circle, is what I'm saying. And the video reminded me of that. That inform. It's okay to inform somebody that maybe micro brands are not really that cost effective. If you're paying $500 for a watch that's really only worth 100, you're not getting a good deal just because it's 500. It's okay to inform, but don't berate somebody like, you idiot. How could you like micro brands? Um, you know, just I think that was good. I'm glad you brought that out, Sanjay.
Well said, said Chaz. And when you were going through your early synopsis there and description, Sanjay, and you were talking about the quartz watches versus mechanical, made me realize have we ever had a discussion? I don't think me and you have ever had a discussion about how important a movement is for you and your collecting. Like I know some people, it's very important to movement. Some people, it's very important, the dial and how it looks.
Hmm.
Um, but with somebody who has probably equal amounts of quartz, maybe you probably have more mechanical watches, but a significant amount of quartz, way more quartz than I do. How important is that movement or any movement to you when you're making that decision process to buy the watch? I mean, I know you value accuracy,
Hmm.
but how important is that movement to you?
Not very, really.
Mm, hmm.
I value technology in a movement.
Yeah.
So if like Omega's coaxial or Grand Seiko's dual impulse escapement or something like that, I value the thought of having that technology in the movement. So that'll give me the what do you call it? The butterflies, the
Hmm.
tinglies. Uh,
Yeah.
um, so that'll be interesting to me. Um, Maybe if you think about it, the decoration, like how well the movement is decorated,
Hmm.
and if you can see that decoration and enjoy it, that is really important to me too. So, like the recent Grand Seiko 9SA5, beautifully decorated, very beautiful to look at. That movement made me want a watch with that movement, which is why I bought the white birch, despite having a lot of question marks about the white birch watch itself.
Hmm.
Like it was a bit of a roller coaster ride of an ownership for me. Even before owning it, I loved the watch, and then I hated the watch, and I loved the watch, and that it was doomed to fail in my collection. I still love to watch, but um, that movement, the fact that it had that beautiful movement, and the fact that I could look at it and enjoy it for that short period of time was very important to me. But
Yeah.
in other ways, um, movement is maybe tertiary
Mm,
um, to my interest in a watch.
yeah.
How
Yeah.
about you?
I you know so I think in the more affordable range, movement is not as important
Right.
to me. When I spend a little bit more money, it's up there. It's up there. It's either maybe the second most important thing,
Yeah.
or the first important thing for me is just the eye test. Like, do I visually like this watch, or do I visually love this watch? You know what I mean? Like, it does it set off some endorphins in my head, that
The
um,
butterflies and tinglies.
right, exactly, like you
Yeah.
said. And then the movement is important. Now, it doesn't have to. That doesn't mean like it has to be like an in-house movement, or it has to be cost certified or whatever like that. But like, even just off the shelf, like, ETAs and Salitas, that's perfectly fine for me.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on the brand, and some brands I know better than others. Some brands I know, like, regulate more, decorate more. I love I love decoration on the movements. I don't need all my watches to have decorated movements. I like the manual wind movements to be decorated, like the 6498s and the 97s. I mean, those movements, those pocket watch movements, when it gets decorated and you have like a really great watchmaker doing that work. I mean, there's almost like nothing like it. It's almost better to look than looking at the front of the dial at times
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So movement is important, but it's not the huge deciding factor for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I just like, I'm not really so crazy about technology per se.
Right.
I think it's cool in a movement. Um, but I just wanted to be able to tell time fairly accurately. It doesn't have to be like, within 2 to 3 seconds. Um, but it has to be like, within 10 seconds would be nice,
Oh yeah.
but if it's decorated, I'll let it slide a little bit too, you know.
Yeah.
um,
So if it's I'll we should ask Chaz what he thinks as well.
yeah,
But
yeah,
um, hypothetically,
yeah,
if a watch is, let's say, 5 seconds off out of spec, like
yeah,
say it's rated from 0 to 5, but it's 10 seconds, would
yeah.
you go through the effort of sending it back, getting it re-regulated, or would you just
Well, there's
say,
some
yeah, it's
factors
just
in it.
10 seconds?
I mean, if
Yeah.
it's under warranty still, and they'll regulate it there for without costing me too much money,
Yeah.
other than like shipping it. Um, yeah, then I'll take advantage of that. But I mean, like, look, if it's like 9, 10 seconds off, like I've had some chronos that have value movements in it, and they've been typically like 9 seconds off, seven
Yeah.
7 to 9 seconds off. I don't have a problem with that. I don't
Yeah.
have a problem with that. But I hear you. I could understand why, if something's off spec, to someone that where accuracy is one of the most important things. I get why that could be an issue
Yeah.
for you, and it should be an issue for most of us. But yeah, Chaz, how important is movement to you, when you're
Well, it's
selecting a watch?
yeah, I would say it's more important than it used to be.
Hmm.
I when I first got into this hobby, it was all just about that watch is pretty. I want that watch,
Yeah.
um, and so I ended up with a lot of watches that I didn't keep,
Mm,
Um, but I think the longer you go in this hobby, the more details matter. Um, I'm not saying that that's the reason you buy the watch, but if you start looking for things maybe you haven't had before. Like spring drive was something I really wanted because I really love that movement. I love the technology of the movement. I love the innovation of the movement. So that movement was important for me. Um, but I also like Zen watches, and they almost don't put a lot of effort on that. they use these off the shelf movements and they regulate them a little bit, and they sometimes decorate them a little bit, but that's not why people buy Zen watches.
Mm-hmm.
They buy them for the the look and the durability and the metallurgy.
Yeah.
But so I kind of value both sides of
Mm-hmm.
that, but I
Mm-hmm.
can see why, as people get further along in this hobby, there reaches a point where that becomes very important.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've experienced all these other kinds of watches,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're going for more of that detail,
Yeah.
that fine finishing, that
Yeah.
that in-house, movement. That I see how that can be important to
I,
people, but it's kind of
and I think I could see how like people who get further along in the hobby, I think it's an easy trap to get into, that every single watch that I get from here on out has to have an amazing movement with
right.
amazing decoration. It doesn't have to be. I don't need to
No,
have all my watches. I feel serve different purposes,
right.
and there's no need. For example, my Damasco chrono to have an in-house movement in it, just like what you mentioned with like Zen. I mean, like there's no need for that. It's not what I got it for. I got it for all the other stuff, all the other tech, the case, the look, the wearability of it, so that's maybe another reason, another thing that seasoned watch collectors should watch out for, is you don't
Yeah,
have to have the best movement in every watch you have.
right.
um, let's see what the chat says real quick before we move on to the next video, and then or if any of us have final thoughts on this. Kevin says, I want a hobby to be inclusive, but I do like limited editions from time to time. I find it fun to get pieces that are fairly rare sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get that. Controversial point, Pete says, on a watch world without LEs is way worse than a world without them. Joey B saying, I find that most of the watches that are hyped are not worthy of being hyped, just my opinion. I think we could agree with
I
that.
agree.
Kevin said, as regrets, I have had a few, but then a few, too few to mention. Okay.
Sounds like I've heard that in a song.
Yeah. Um, BDev saying, this hobby is so crazy right now. I'm having fun buying affordables, even checking out vintage watches on eBay. I'm having fun finding older watches at
Man,
giveaway prices. Yeah.
that's great, Bruno.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
Desmond saying, I am with you guys. I have a classic Omega Speedmaster, 20 years old, Tudor Black Bay P01, but have huge Phoebus watch collection. Really like both.
That's great. Enjoy it, man.
Paul, same. I value technology way more than hand finishing. I don't really care about finishing. Okay, fair
That
enough.
makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see here. It sounds like hell. I tried to buy a Squally last night. Alcohol's a hell of a thing. LOL. I tell you what, there was like a Squally limited release from, oh, I forget. I got an email the other day, and then the watch looked great. The watch, it's
They make some pretty watches.
yeah, it's some English company did, I forget what it was, man. I wish I remembered. Maybe that's a good thing. But they did it's like a 50 a limited release of 50, and the watch looked awesome. It was like this blacked out Squale diver, so cool. Um, so
Did it look like a sub?
what was that?
Did it look like a sub or?
No, 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 no. It didn't. It didn't look
Okay.
like a sub.
Okay.
Because you know how they have those those line of divers that do look like subs or
Yeah.
or vintage
Yeah.
subs, but then they have their own 1521 case or 1521 series or whatever it's called, and that's more of a unique look for them. And that's what that watch reminded me of. It didn't
Okay.
look like a sub. Um, what does the chat think about outside AR coding? Um, I I like the coding inside. I don't really need outside and inside coding on my watches, and then you have the off chance that down the road it could peel off a little bit, but I've never had experienced that, so I don't know how easy that is. It's probably not that easy. It probably just doesn't happen that often, but I don't need double AR coding. What do you guys? Do you guys have a preference?
I like outside AR coating.
Mm,
Omega does it really well.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had it scratch off, or even leave any mark on any of the watches that I've had with AR coating. I know it's very easy to happen, and it
Mm-hmm.
just takes the right formula of stuff to
Gotcha.
happen at the same time for it to happen. And when it does happen, it can look pretty ugly. But yeah, I'm okay with it.
I love, first of all, I love good AR coding. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's so important for
Right.
my enjoyment of a watch. If I get glare too much off of
Mm.
it's just kind of ruins it for me. If you can't take a good picture of it, you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
know, uh, Omega uses, like Sanjay said, on both sides, and I haven't had a problem with it. I've heard, I've seen other people who said they had it scratched. That would
Yeah.
bug me.
Yeah.
Seiko, I think, does a great job on the underside AR, and Grand Seiko too. So
Yeah.
I guess I
That's
would prefer it if it wasn't a possibility of it scratching. I'm fine with it on the outside, and
Yeah.
so far so good on the Mega. I haven't had any problems. So
Yeah.
made my dog bark. Sorry.
that's the good thing about Seiko though, that they are able to get a nearly as good as a double AR coating,
Yeah.
but it's just on the underside. Seiko's AR coating is just legendary. It's so good.
Yeah.
Joey B coming out of the drunk low bid closet saying that he drunk low bid on a Nomos last week and he won. He got a good deal. It's a good watch. It's a good watch though. Really good watch. Um, Justin, I gotta be honest. If it was 10 seconds out of spec, I probably wouldn't notice for a couple days at all. Pete saying, I'm not sure. How'd I know if a watch was out of less than a minute a day? Bobby Legs, if your sub was plus 8 seconds a day, would you send it in? Um, if it was under warranty still, I think I would send it in and hoping that I don't have to pay, to get that fixed. But I mean, like if it was not, I mean, like I if it was 10 years old and that was the only problem, that was like plus or minus 8 seconds a day, I wouldn't send it in. I'd send it in unless it was more egregious than that. But yeah. If I wanted something really accurate, I'd get a Grand Seiko. You know what I mean? If I wanted like an analog watch, I'd get a Grand Seiko. Uh,
Subs spec is much tighter than Grand
oh
Seiko.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But I mean,
Yeah.
a Grand Seiko quartz. I'm sorry.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. Movement was important to me until I saw an interview with JCB, and he was like, "Who cares about the movement as long as it works?" Right? Easy Clayton saying, "Drunk bidding and buying is just exposing our inner toxic desires." Memphis saying, "Sanjay shouldn't worry about accuracy. He sells them before he gets more than a few seconds off." Right?
Yeah.
Good one, Neff.
Yeah.
Um, and MJ saying, in my experience, inexpensive Mayota movement has been crazy accurate, plus 2 seconds a day. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay. Let's get going. It's already 6:34. I know I got to catch up with the chat here a little bit. Sorry, guys. 2 years after buying, Big Risk says, my first tutor, I still lust after many low-cost watches. My Notice as a great example. Yeah, I mean, like
That's fine,
affordable,
man.
good-looking, affordable watches are great. They're just great. Hobby Bobby saying GS is like Nike in that their best watches are only LEs. Frustrating. What do you say
And
about that?
region locked too.
Hmm.
It's incredibly frustrating. um yeah, my favorite watches from GS, I like the Grand Seiko Winter. I couldn't buy until recently, until they started selling them internationally. So
Yeah.
like the new Kirazuri like watch, I think is US only, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah. Paul says I do like chocolate. I do. I like chocolate too. I like dark chocolate. I also like milk chocolate. I love Reese's Pieces. Chocolate with peanut butter in it. I like chocolate probably a lot more than I think I do. What do you about you guys? Do you guys like chocolate?
Yeah.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah,
I mean, you don't get these kind of cheeks and chins from not liking chocolate.
yeah, yeah,
Only the good stuff for me.
yeah. Oh, okay, okay.
It's Swiss made. Swiss
Yeah, gotcha. Pete is saying, love air on both sides. The more and the better, the better. Bradley does it beautifully. Um, excellent. Okay, so let's move on to the second topic. And this one is the one I selected. Chrono24. They have a YouTube channel, and they had a video on the most underrated watches according to subscribers. I'm going to talk a little bit less about the video, and I want to get more on opinions on the panel and the chat. But they had shown a Glazut Original, a Glazut Original, sorry, a couple of JLCs, the Polaris and Master Control line, and yada yada yada. But I want to know from you guys, and I'll go first. What do you think is the most or an underrated watch that doesn't get as much love? And chat, please put it in your choices as well. I'll start it off by saying, and I'm gonna go German. And I know the guy in the video mentioned Glashütte, but I think the one I would pick is the 70s three hand date 70s one. I think believe they just discontinued it. They're still making the Chronos, which are hot right now. I don't think you're getting much of a discount on those at the moment. But the three hand in blue with that sunburst blue, big date. I know some people get turned off with the square shape. I think I love it. It's a throwback to a vintagey look. I think that's why the line is called the 70s. And if you see those on the secondary market, especially lately, they're all under $7,000 that I've seen. And I think that's going to be a watch down the road if they don't bring that back, that three hander. It's going to be highly collectible. It's a beauty, and it's one of my favorites, and I think it's very very underrated. Chaz, do you have a pick for underrated watch?
Yeah, I think the Zen 903 is an
Oh,
underrated watch. Especially if you like the look of a Navitimer, and I don't want to get into the history of
hmm
how Zen makes a Navitimer, but they legally have the patent to do it. And really and truly, for under $3,000, you can get a good used
hmm
903 that
yeah,
is a beautiful watch.
yep.
And I think that's an underrated model.
Sanjay.
Oh, underrated. I would say um I wanted to say that it was funny that he had mentioned that Grand Seiko and Seiko are underrated. I feel like they're verging on overrated.
Yeah.
As a Grand Seiko fan, I'd say they're verging on overrated. But
Well, in fairness to him, I mean, it was something that the people who were commenting that it wasn't his pick.
okay, okay,
It was from subscribers to the channel who were saying it, and they were kind of
okay,
more general. They were just saying Seiko or Grand Seiko. They didn't drill down to a specific model.
yeah.
Um,
I Neff just say Grand Seiko. I mean no, underrated. I, I would probably I would probably agree that the JLC is probably one of the most underrated brands.
mhm.
Uh, I'm uh, I'm really drawing a blank.
No,
The
no worries. We can
bl-
we can go to the chat, and if it comes to you, you know,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Let's go to the chat real quick, and then
yeah.
think about it. Rasan Breitling Aerospace, completely underrated. Very very cool watch indeed. I love the Aerospace. It's just such a neat watch. Um, Hobby Lobby,
It
the
is a cool
Globe
watch.
Omega Globemaster. I
That's a
love the
good choice.
Globemaster line.
Yeah.
I especially do. And now a good friend of mine turned me on to the annual calendar, that I've seen before, but there've been some new releases on the annual calendar version of the Globemaster. There's a one with the Sedna gold bezel and that deep burgundy red uh, dial and strap, and it just looks so awesome. and to get an annual calendar of that caliber from a brand like that for, I think it's under, well, it's a little bit over 84. I think it's 8,400, maybe it's 8,400. But I mean, with a discount, possibly, probably for that watch down the road in a little while from now, maybe it's man, it's such a great value, I think. Um, Neff is saying Aquas, Dornbooth, and Zune, very underrated, but very small, brand, independent brand from Germany. Not too many people have heard of it. Laurent Ferrier, agree with Wasan, Evo is super underrated. Paul, the O2 Carrera 42 millimeter. Was it AI tags? Am I
all,
I think
all
he means
tags.
all
all
tags
tags,
are
all tags, all
underrated.
tags, all tags. Okay, okay, all right. Oh
Paul's
man,
got a
okay.
disciple.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Orange Hand saying most underrated watch is Aquaterra. It's better than anything from the whole. Man, you know, Chaz and I have been crushing on the Aquaterra very hard lately. Different variations, but it's hard to disagree with the Orange Hand. The Aquaterra is definitely a great watch. Time L saying Geo 70s is underrated. Thank you for agreeing with me, Steve. Appreciate that. Calico Basin, maybe we should be asking, is Chrono24 opinions overrated? I see what you did there, flipping the script a little bit. Kevin S is saying Omega Railmaster completely underrated. You had one of those, right, Sanjay? Even
Right.
older ones from the early 2000s. You had one, and it left the collection, but that is not a condemning fact for the Railmaster. All your watches leave your collection.
Yes.
So,
The infamous fender bender. That's how that left, right? The
Yeah.
Railmaster got put on a rail right
yeah,
there.
Yeah. Railmaster
Yeah.
took the brunt of my wrath.
Yeah.
that poor watch. Hot take: wire lug Radomir. Radiomir. Yeah, I mean, I that's very interesting take there, Hobby Bobby. Um, I'm more of a Luminor guy, but sometimes, man, those Radiomirs really tickle my fancy. Neff, I'm catching up to that one. Neff says Grant Seiko Sanjay. Um, Paul agreeing that the Aquaterra is underrated. It's quietly good at everything.
I
Very
don't
good.
argue.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's quietly good at everything. I would agree.
Yeah.
BDev saying Mito Certina Alpina. On the affordable side, Citizen. Citizen makes a great watch, man. Um, Chris is saying Stova, their marine line is gorgeous and great bang for buck.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So like
Great watches.
if you can't afford those Dornbooth and Zones, which has a marine look, you can go Stova, and I think they stick in a 6498 or 97 in their 98 for their master marine line. Very nice. Um, Justin JLC for show. Agree on JLC. IWC and JLC. I don't know. I think IWC. I don't know if I see them as underrated anymore. You know what I
And they
mean? Like
came
they,
on strong last year.
yeah. We're aware of them. Everybody's aware of them. They had a good year and deservingly so. Um, uh, why so little love for JLC? Was looking at their perpetual calendar and it seems so compelling at that price. No, there's no little love. We love JLC. We love JLC. Paul, the UN 42 diver. You're talking Amin's love for UN. Yeah, that's a really awesome, cool looking watch for sure. PF super underrated for sure. They take a bath in the secondary market. You can get some good ones at some low prices relatively these days. Great finishing on those. Most underrated brand, Easy Hublot. Absolutely serious. They do get their a lot of hate, right? They do. I could, Sanjay, I could see you with a Hublot.
Me.
Yeah, no. I mean, no. I'm just not to be funny, but I mean, I could see
Uh,
you like going Hublot one day. I mean, why not?
The only thing I would get would be a classic fusion. I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and even then, it would, yeah, I'd have to get it as a gift or something. But
Uh,
like,
okay.
yeah, I wouldn't buy Hublot.
So you brought this up. Gift watches. Would you get rid of them?
No,
Okay.
no, that would be hard.
Hmm.
I
Okay. I
mean,
mean,
wait, actually, I would ask for permission. I would ask for permission if I can put the gift watch towards a different watch. Um, and yeah, if I had that person's blessing,
yeah.
I will do it.
So this is what really Sanjay's saying. Gift watch? No, I would never get rid of it. Oh wait, unless I get permission. Wait, I'll totally get rid of a gift watch. Totally get rid of it.
Yeah.
Paul saying the Tudor 1926. Chris, great point here. Ball watches, very, very underrated.
I hear a lot of good things about ball watches. I just never have gone that way.
Yeah.
You just picked one up.
What'd you say, Sanya? Who picked one up?
Torn.
Torn.
Oh, okay.
Which one did he get?
The engineer.
Okay.
Fireman engineer, the one
Yeah,
that
yeah.
looks
Oh,
like
that's
a.
right. He was wearing it. He was wearing it last night.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was. Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
Kara Joy. Oh,
I'm
sorry.
gonna say Zenith. Zenith A384 is super underrated.
Okay. Okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Alpina Star Timer Heritage Mono Pusher Chrono. I don't know if that one. Gift watches stay even if I wear them in person. Must have came from wife. So yeah, absolutely. Torrance saying my review of the ball watch is coming soon. Super underrated enterprise fireman. Javi, thank you, Javi. Sanjay Classic Fusion is fun. We'll get that going. We'll start that up. It's gonna have to. There's gonna have to be a lot of compounding interest to get there. I have a feeling with that.
And then I'll have to write to like 100 people asking for permission.
That's true. You would have to. Tatima Patria. Wow, Paul, what a pull! Beautiful, beautiful dress watch. Awesome. Yeah, good pull there. Unachieving watch collector. I picked up an Eterna for a steal. Yes. Okay, so great picks, chat. Really, really appreciate your participation. And let's go into our final video, one that Chaz picked. Oil Money, I think, is not here. But anyway, Chaz, please tell us which one you
Well,
picked.
the Theo and Harris, they had a kind of a controversial title. It's kind of the way you do, you get people to click on here because you've got Grand Seiko fanboys that, all right, Grand Seiko's owning it. And then you've got folks who, hate that they click on. But it's actually a long video that talks about several things. And, the Theo and Harris guys, I always feel a little sorry. Theo kind of seems to talk down to the Harris guy. I forget which one of them is which. Which one's Theo and which one's Harris?
Christian and Michael.
Oh yeah. It seems to me like that Theo talks down to Harris a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Harris. It's like he's like a little kid. He's just trying to sit there like a puppy, just wants to please. And Theo just kind of makes cuts at him. A lot of it's kind of, it's kind of passive aggressive, but you can tell he's like reminds him over and over again that I'm the boss.
Right.
No, they've got a great channel, a lot of high production value, and they do great, great job, good editing. It's a professional outfit over there. But they started out talking about Grand Seiko, and this is what I want to see what you guys thought about it. They were really up on Grand Seiko's model of releasing all these models. You know, nobody has released what Grand Seiko's released this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just, I mean, it's every week. I mean, we're just barely into 2022, and how many new models have they put out already?
Right.
And they were really celebrating that, and they said, you know, they had gone to some Grand Seiko event, and they saw I think they went to the same event maybe Dan had gone to, where they saw the reveal on the white birch, and you know, they were talking about that, and they said that you know, these releases that they're doing is just a way for them to dominate the market. But I don't know if that's you know, all these Grand Seiko's model, the way they do it. You know, they mentioned that Grand Seiko does what they do for themselves. You know, they do what they do for them,
Mm-hmm.
and what they value, the way they build a watch, the way they put those that's for them. And it happens to be very popular, you know. But you know, he talked about the genius of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what you guys thought about that. Do you think that's a good way to do it? All these different models that, you know, taking like the white birch, and they've re-released it as the white birch spring drive instead of the dual impulse high beat movement. And you know, they mentioned it's kind of like Rolex did a, you know, version 1 and a version 2. That's just slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion on that? Do you guys think that's a positive thing? Do you think that's a winning formula for them?
Mr. Grand Seiko, I mean, the floor is yours.
Well, I don't think that I disagree. I don't think they do what they do for themselves, because I feel like they do listen to a certain extent. We've got like a 40 millimeter GMT from Grand Seiko, which is, you know, especially because all their previous GMTs were 44 millimeters. People are asking for smaller watches. Grand Seiko have been kind of delivering that. And well, yeah, in a very small small way, but I don't know if they quite uh, do what they want to do. They are kind of bound by rules, and I I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the a previous video from Theo and Harris, from Michael and Christian, where they talked about Omega and how Omega is a company that really cares about you. Like, even if you buy their Seamaster bottom of the barrel Seamaster, you know, it's like they'll treat you well. You know, they'll know your name, and almost like it was an independent brand. Um, I bought plenty of Omegas. Omega doesn't know who I am.
No, they don't.
Omega's a huge conglomerate, like a huge company. They don't care about you.
Right.
So I heard I thought I saw a chat saying they're riding the gravy train. They really are riding the gravy train. There is a huge, maybe it's subliminal, maybe they know what they're doing, but I think there's a huge conflict of interest here when they're talking about Grand Seiko, Omega, because those are their customers.
Yeah.
They get paid to make videos for Grand Seiko, for Omega,
Mm-hmm.
and whether it's intentional or not, they're tooting, they're pushing them up, which not in a very believable way, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin saying they do too many limited editions, but I like the fact that they release a product throughout the year. Makes collecting from the brand more fun and interesting, unlike a brand like Rolex. Paul saying, I think they do a very, 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 very good job at marketing passion. No one loves nature that much, not even nature. Neff says, so I hated on Theo and Harris the last time we talked about them, but Sanjay said, give them another chance, and I have been enjoying their videos. Oh, wow. Look at
Yeah,
that.
They're great.
they're fun. They really are fun.
It's good banter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GS has the financial backing to do whatever they want, and they are good for them. I think them already owning 2022, well, in a sense that they keep on constantly releasing, you know, models. So they're controlling the narrative right so far. So right, I mean, so like by sheer numbers, it's just more newsworthy, right? I just I mean, Grand Seiko just doesn't do much for me at the moment. Um, I do like some of their watches. I feel like I keep on seeing the same things though, over and over again. And look, I don't watch them or study them very, very closely. So I'm sure there's huge differences between models that they're putting out and nuances. But for me, it's just like, okay, yeah, it's Grand Seiko time. All right, fine, more Grand Seiko, and good for them, good for them. And Theo and Harris, it is what it is. Theo and Harris. Um, I don't know. I don't know. This one. I was just like, kind of like, oh man, are we talking Grand Seiko again?
Yeah.
Um,
They
With Grand
didn't stay
Seiko,
on
it's
Grand
kind of.
Seiko too long, though.
yeah, yeah,
I feel like with Grand Seiko, it's kind of like they have their categories and they just roll the dice, randomize everything, and see what comes up, and then that'll be a release, right? So you got the different case
mm,
styles, um, one or two different kinds of hands, whether there's a center stack cap or not, and they'll just hit the randomizer, and you got this style with this
mm,
case
yeah,
and this is going
yeah,
to be our next release. Next
yeah,
month we're going to have this case, this style, and that'll be our next release. And you know it works. It keeps them in the news all year
yeah.
round. So
I gotta tell you what I do like about Grand Seiko. I do like you know the the polishing on their hands and indices. I mean, I think they're one of the best at that, and so that's why like I'll probably always would at some point maybe own a Grand Seiko. But I'm just not riding that bandwagon, and I don't care if somebody's opinion is that they are already owning 2022, or are they, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like,
how do you even own 2022?
I
Yeah.
know.
What does that
How
even
do you?
mean?
It's been like a month and a week or two. So I
Yeah,
mean, you haven't owned much if you're
yeah,
owning
yeah.
2022.
It's just they could just Theo and Harris, or Christian and Michael. I mean, they're just clickbait. It's clickbait, right? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You know.
yeah.
Um, but whatever. They have over 100,000 subscribers, so they must be doing something right.
They also had a sponsor besides
Mm.
they had a
Yeah,
sponsor of
I
some
know.
kind of hair, uh, Bosley hair
Bosley.
Yeah,
treatment.
yeah, yeah. It was so odd,
Um,
right?
it
Yeah.
was so odd, and it gave Theo a chance to brag about his luscious head of hair.
Yeah,
Um, and it, it was just awkward right in the middle of this watch
yeah,
video.
yeah,
We got 5 minutes on, hey, if you're bald and you don't want to be bald anymore,
yeah,
not that there's anything wrong with being bald.
yeah,
uh, these people can hook you up. It was so off-putting. It was like you're forced to watch this, and I don't know, it's just weird. um,
yeah.
and then they got into Zenith, and what I did appreciate about
Mm.
Theo is he called Zenith and Zenith
And it in
in
the
the
same
same
sense. Yeah,
sentence,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
do that all the time.
yeah. He did it
So
twice too.
he did it twice,
Yeah,
and I thought, yes, because I do that.
yeah,
I keep wanting to say it's Zenith, but I say Zenith,
yeah, yeah.
and I thought that was kind of cute. Um, but the one thing you brought up about Zenith is, they were talking about the revival of one of their vintage models,
Hmm.
that Defy,
Hmm.
that uh, the one that had all the all the different, the kind of weird looking one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Hmm.
remember?
Yep,
It had the ladder
yep.
bracelet,
Not a bracelet. Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, and well, how do you feel about watches that constantly are reviving an old model?
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of watch companies are going to that well.
Yeah, they're doing it, and it's a lack of imagination, right? I mean, it's like, and I've used this analogy before. It's like Hollywood only putting out like 10 movies of the same kind of the same, Hollywood putting out adventure movies all the time, right?
Right.
I know that there's other movies that are being, but the movies that people care about are the same movies that are being redone over and over again, and I feel that has happened. It's getting a little stale. Zenith is not the only one that does it. There are other brands that do it, that go back into the well too many times, and frankly, it's getting boring. Now I don't know what the answer is, but again, I'm not running a watch brand. Okay, so it's not my
Yeah.
job. But
Right.
but
Pete,
I'm getting a little
Pete
bored with it.
from Not So Obvious Watches. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but he had a really interesting take on this that watch, because what was it, a limited edition of like 25 pieces,
Hmm.
I think.
It's
Um,
limited. Yeah, I think it was.
yeah,
Was it 25? Okay.
it was really small, maybe 50. Um, and they were talking about it's from 1969, which is before the AP Royal Oak. And then they also released the Zenith Defy with the 1/10 of a second with the AP Royal Oak lookalike dial, the hobnail dial. And Pete was talking about how this is Zenith trolling AP on their
Mm,
50th anniversary of the Royal Oak, because Zenith is saying we did this before you did. And I
Right.
thought that was really interesting. So this whole thing could be just Zenith going after AP. If I mean, there's a good chance, because they're only making 25 of these or 50 of these.
mm,
Hmm.
It's super ugly, but
yeah.
I mean,
It's
in my opinion,
strange looking.
but it's a good troll, like a good attack if
I
it
mean,
is.
okay. I mean, okay. Submariner back into the wild. I mean, like, well, they never stopped making Submariners, right? So it's not going back to the wild. They just keep on putting out the same watch. Really, I mean, do we think Zenith is actually spending the time and effort by releasing? I know it's only 25 watches just to troll
But it happened on the
AP.
same day.
Yeah.
Like they released it
Uh,
on the same day that AP announced their 50th anniversary Royal Oak.
I
So
think that's just that. Okay, possibly. I just think that was just coincidental.
yeah, it
Um,
could be.
but
I thought it was
yeah,
funny though. It was
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The Defy is a good model, though. If you look at it, just if you like that look, I mean, that I think Zenith can really do things with that Defy model. And if you talk about it in terms of, um, you know, if you talk about it in terms of their price difference, I mean, it makes it very competitive.
Yeah.
And yeah, Clayton, I do realize that we're not Theo and Harris. And
Yeah, AP probably doesn't even care.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
So laughing all the way to the bank.
yeah. Then go ahead, give it your best shot.
yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. I
Yeah.
just, I mean, look, it's going to your vintage roots. It sells. Okay. I mean, fine. I mean, if people willing to buy it, then keep on doing it. I guess. That's why I mean I'm not running a watch brand business, right? So maybe there's a good reason. If I did, I'd probably fail. But I don't know. There's some people who are doing some good stuff. There's some brands that are doing good stuff. I get it. But these big guys just dipping back into the well, it's just it's boring.
Yeah.
It's boring.
And then they closed
Um,
out the video, Rob, talking about a travel watch.
hmm
Um, would you get a travel watch? And like the watch you bring it turns into like a desk
Oh,
watch.
yeah,
Houdinki.
You like the
yeah,
Hodinkis. What was
yeah,
it,
yeah,
$6,000 or
Yeah.
something for the and Theo said he would have one. Harris said he wouldn't.
yeah.
Um, you know, and I can't imagine why I would carry a travel watch. I got my watch. I don't need to put one on. I've got my watch on my nightstand. But I
Yeah.
just wanted to ask you guys: would you buy a travel watch?
No,
No.
no,
Would not. No.
no. I just bring my watch. I'll travel with my watch.
There you
That's
go.
that's what I'll do.
I mean, I could see it if you collected these travel watches and you kept them in your safe or something, and that was your hobby. But to
Yeah.
actually use it in a hotel, that seems
Yeah.
a little ludicrous. But
I didn't get it at all, and I thought maybe I'm weird, but I can't imagine why anybody would want one.
Yeah, no, then you have to take a black light to your hotel watch, and you don't want to know.
No,
You don't want to know, right?
no.
Well, guys, it is past 10 o'clock. It's past my bedtime. Could you believe it? Oh man, what was I thinking?
Time
That's why.
flies.
Anyway, Sanjay, it was great doing this again with you. Next week, though, it's your baby again. Have fun with it. I'm going to be in bed by 9 o'clock next week.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get you
Watching
back.
you. Yeah. Chaz, I can't even imagine doing any of these now. Like if I have to do it again without you, Chaz, you're
It's always
such a
fun, man.
great partner in crime. Really, really appreciate it. Chat, thank you for joining us. Oh, Sanjay, anything coming up this week? You want to plug into your Instagram? You want to do anything? Anything? No.
Yeah, nothing's coming up this week other than Saturday night.
Yeah.
Watch Talk and Watch Soup next week. You can find me on Instagram at engineer_wannabe.
Yeah, and congratulations, you surpassed recently 4,000 subscribers, man. You're on
Oh,
fire.
great
You went from
job.
like 3 to 4 pretty quickly, man. You know,
Thanks.
that's
I
awesome.
Torrent's doing really well too.
Yeah, Torrent's
Yeah.
tearing it up.
I didn't
Yeah.
even notice because of all the stuff with the baby coming. I didn't even notice that I hit 4,000, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, man. Keep
Exciting.
going, man. Chat, thank you for showing up tonight. I appreciate it, guys on the panel. Thanks again, and you guys have a great night, and I'll see you during the week.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys. Have a great week.
Good night.